At the very beginning of the story, we meet a professional killer named John, who could kill anyone for money. During the peak of crime, John was the most expensive hitman. After earning a huge amount of money from this profession, he decided to retire because he wanted to live a peaceful life with his wife. John's wife's name was Natasha. One day, Natasha said, "I'm going on a trip with my best friend Nora for a few days. While I'm away, I want you to take care of her stepdaughter because her father moved far away after the divorce." The girl's name is Song Young, and she is 17 years old. Hearing this, John replied, "She's 17 years old. She can take care of herself." However, after Natasha insisted several times, John finally agreed to look after the girl. Deep down, though, he didn't like the idea because he didn't want an unfamiliar girl staying in his house. The next day, John dropped Natasha and Nora off at the airport. Later that afternoon, he went to a coffee shop to pick up Song Young. On the way home, Song Young told him, "I want to stay at a friend's house tonight." John agreed. Before she left, he gave her some money, but while placing the cash inside her wallet, he secretly slipped in a tracking device so he could always know where she was. John dropped Song Young and her friend near a shopping mall before returning home. However, in the middle of the night, Song Young called John and told him that she was suffering from severe stomach pain and begged him to come help her immediately. Without going back to sleep, John rushed to her location. When he arrived, he found Song Young happily hanging out with her boyfriend. Seeing this made John furious inside because he realized she had tricked him just so she could spend time with her boyfriend instead of going home. John asked, "Didn't you say you were going to your best friend's house?" Song Young didn't answer any of his questions because she was busy chatting with someone on her phone. Watching all of this made John angry at himself, but he managed to control his temper. Song Young then told John to leave because another friend had invited her over. Just as John was about to leave, he noticed Song Young going somewhere with her boyfriend. At that moment, John realized she had fooled him once again. The area they were heading toward looked extremely dangerous. Remembering his responsibility, John decided to follow her. It didn't take him long to find Song Young's exact location because she was carrying the tracking device. John arrived at an isolated place. Inside, they met a woman named Donna, who told Song Young, "If you make my client happy, I'll pay you $200. At that moment, it became clear that Song Young's boyfriend had deliberately brought her there. Donna threatened Song Young, saying, "If you don't do what I say, I won't let you leave this place." Hearing that, Song Young cursed at Donna. Donna was about to slap Song Young when John suddenly walked in. John warned them, "If even a single scratch appears on Song Young, I won't spare any of you." Thinking John was just an ordinary man, Song Young's boyfriend attacked him. But John was a professional fighter. He effortlessly disarmed him by taking away his knife. Immediately afterward, all the men inside started attacking John. John easily overpowered every one of them and beat them until they could barely stand. He ordered everyone to leave. Just then, Donna stabbed John with a knife, but it had absolutely no effect on him. John punched Donna once, knocking her unconscious to the ground. After that, John took Song Young away from the place. Because of what John had done for her, Song Young began to see him as a good man. As a result, a genuine friendship slowly developed between them. That night, the two of them went out to eat together. While returning home, they noticed the police conducting vehicle inspections on the road. Officer Lee stopped John's car and began questioning him. Officer Lee said, "Several college students have been murdered around here, so we're checking every vehicle." After questioning them for a while, Lee allowed them to leave. Once they got home, John searched the incident on the internet. To his surprise, he discovered that the boys he had beaten the previous night were the same boys who had been murdered. After reading the news, John felt bad for those boys. The following morning, Officer Lee came to John's house to question him because he had become suspicious of him. Lee showed John CCTV footage in which John's car could be seen driving through that area. Lee asked, "What was your car doing on the road next to the crime scene?" John cleverly replied, "My car wasn't the only one that passed through there. Many other cars did too." Lee then showed him another piece of footage where Song Young could be seen with the same boys who were murdered the previous night. However, since the footage wasn't clear, John simply ignored it and avoided giving it much importance. Because of Lee's incredibly accurate investigation, John started becoming suspicious of him. After Lee left, Song Young apologized to John because she had been terrified. Seeing the fear on Song Young's face reminded John of another girl he had known 5 years earlier. That girl had completely lost hope in life and was about to commit suicide. John stopped her and encouraged her to forget the past and move forward with her life. At that very moment, Donna called Song Young's phone and spoke directly to John. Donna said, "Those boys are dead, and the knife you took from that boy has your fingerprints on it. If I hand that knife over to the police, you'll be in serious trouble." Donna continued, "If you don't come to the place I tell you within 1 hour, I'll give all the evidence to the police." After hearing this, John prepared to meet Donna. Before leaving, he gave Song Young a safety bracelet that contained a hidden tracking device. Leaving Song Young alone at home, John set out to meet Donna. John arrived near a building. There, he met a man named Jang, who was one of Donna's associates. Their job was to kidnap young girls and sell them. Jang ordered one of his men to kill John. However, John easily beat the man until he was completely helpless. John demanded the knife from Donna because it had his fingerprints on it, but Donna refused to hand it over. Seeing this, John began torturing Jang's men. Watching this terrified Jang, and in fear, he threw the knife toward John. As John bent down to pick up the knife, Jang suddenly opened fire on him and fled the scene. Holding the knife, John immediately chased after Jang. Along the way, John encountered another fighter who was almost as skilled as he was. Even so, John brutally defeated him before continuing the chase. After the fight, John returned straight to his house. As soon as he arrived, he noticed several footprints and realized that a group of people had broken into his house and kidnapped Song Young. John quickly tracked Song Young's location using the tracking device. Without wasting a second, he grabbed his pistol and rushed toward her location. John arrived at a deserted apartment building. He went straight to the apartment where Donna was staying and immediately attacked everyone inside. Seeing this, Donna tried to escape, but John caught her. John asked her where Song Young was. Donna replied, "If you kill me, they'll kill Song Young as well. You'll never even get to see her dead body." Hearing this, John spared her life but tortured her instead. Unable to endure the pain, Donna finally confessed everything. Donna told John, "Our job is to kidnap young girls and sell them. Song Young is a very attractive and virgin girl. One of our clients became obsessed with her and paid us a huge amount of money to kidnap her and deliver her to him. We supply girls to our clients according to their demands." John asked where Song Young was being held. Donna then told him the name of a hotel where Song Young had been taken. John asked who the client was that had specifically requested Song Young. Donna replied, "I don't know who he is. Only my boss knows him." John immediately headed toward the hotel where Song Young was supposedly being held. After John left, the police arrived there. As Officer Lee searched the hotel rooms, he entered one room and found Donna dead. Meanwhile, John reached the hotel. The men guarding the place immediately attacked him. But John was both a professional fighter and a professional killer. He effortlessly eliminated every single one of them. Unfortunately, Song Young wasn't at the hotel either. Then a man named Yuri appeared before John. Yuri was also a professional fighter. He worked for the Russian Mafia. Yuri told John, "Tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock, Song Young will be shipped to Russia on a cargo vessel. But you won't be able to save her because I'm going to kill you right here." John desperately wanted to save Song Young. That's why he had no intention of fighting Yuri. Instead, he tried to leave. However, Yuri chased after him. A brutal fight broke out. Since both of them were highly skilled fighters, neither one could gain an easy advantage. Finally, John found an opening. He tied Yuri up with a rope and jumped out of the window. He landed on top of a car. That car belonged to Officer Lee. Officer Lee immediately pointed his gun at John and prepared to shoot him. He told John that he was taking him to the police station. But John cleverly disarmed Lee, took away his gun, captured him, and drove away in Lee's own car to rescue Song Young. Sometime later, John arrived at a small port. This was the place from where Song Young was going to be smuggled to Russia. John spotted Song Young inside a vehicle. Without hesitation, he attacked the gangsters who had kidnapped her. After killing every one of them, John successfully rescued Song Young. Just then, Jang suddenly attacked John. John brutally beat him and demanded to know who had requested Song Young. But Jang refused to say a single word. So John shot him dead. Watching everything unfold terrified Officer Lee. As John searched Jang's pockets, he found a mobile phone. He checked the call history and discovered that the last call had been made to Officer Lee. At that moment, John realized that Lee was also one of their men. John told Lee, "Tell me who the man is behind this organization. If you don't, I'll hand this phone over to the media. Then everyone will learn the truth, that you're a corrupt police officer who helps a human trafficking syndicate." Just then, another police team was arriving at the port, so Lee had no choice but to agree. He explained the entire incident to the arriving officers. Both Sung-Young and John were immediately taken to the hospital. When Sung-Young regained consciousness, she apologized to John. She said, "All of this happened because of me." But John comforted her by saying, "None of this was your fault." Later at the hospital, Officer Lee told John, "I covered up all the murders you committed while rescuing Sung-Young." John replied, "I had already figured out that day that you were working for Donna's boss, because I left Donna's body next to your car. You knew that if the police found Donna's body, they would eventually trace the investigation back to her boss and arrest him." Hearing all of this left Lee completely shocked. John then said, "I want you to gather information about the Russian mafia that traffics young girls overseas." At first, Lee refused. He said, "That's an extremely dangerous risk." But eventually, Lee agreed. The reason was that John had evidence of all Lee's corrupt activities, which could destroy his entire career. The very next day, Lee called John and gave him the address of a hotel. A man named Park was staying there. Park was also a member of the same organization that was involved in kidnapping underage girls and trafficking them overseas. Meanwhile, Park learned that the police had discovered their location, so he immediately tried to escape. At that very moment, John arrived and began taking down every one of Park's men, one by one. After brutally beating Park, John asked him who had specifically demanded Sung-Young. Park then made a phone call to a woman who was also involved in their operation. Everyone in the organization knew her as Big Mama. From that phone call, John learned that the person who had demanded Sung-Young was a judge named King. Park told John, "Our job is only to kidnap underage girls and deliver them to the judge. The judge spends time with one of the girls he likes, while the remaining girls are sold to Russia for huge amounts of money." After getting all the information he needed from Park, John killed him as well. John then made a phone call and asked someone to come there immediately. Within a short time, a special team arrived at the crime scene. They completely cleaned the entire area. All the dead bodies were removed so that no evidence would be left behind. In reality, this team's only job was to clean up crime scenes so thoroughly that no evidence could ever be found. They worked exclusively for gangsters and the Mafia. After that, John went to meet one of his friends who dealt in weapons. John obtained a large sniper rifle from him. Now John was fully prepared. Just then, Lee called John and said, "The judge, who is the mastermind behind all of this, is the president of the Central District Law Association. He has connections with powerful politicians. I can't afford to make an enemy of someone like him." But John was a professional fighter. He wasn't afraid of powerful politicians or high-ranking officials. Lee also told John, Sung-Young's father died in a car accident. Since then, she has been living with her stepmother. After learning everything from Lee, John headed to the hotel where Judge King was enjoying himself with several young women. Using his sniper rifle, John eliminated the judge's guards one after another. To please Judge King, Big Mama had sent him another new girl. The moment John entered the building, he started killing everyone inside one by one. Yuri was also there and immediately opened fire on John. A fierce gunfight broke out between them. Officer Lee was there with John as well. But at the right moment, Lee suddenly pointed his gun at John. Lee captured John and brought him before the judge. John looked at the judge and asked, "Are you the one who demanded Sung-Young?" Hearing this, the judge simply laughed. The judge then ordered Lee to kill John. Lee took John outside. At that very moment, John attacked Lee. Then all the remaining guards rushed in to kill John. John fought every one of them and, within a short time, wiped them all out. John told Lee, "The only reason I surrendered was so I could meet the judge." Then John killed Lee. Just then, Yuri appeared again and started shooting at John. A long and brutal battle followed. In the end, John beat Yuri mercilessly before finally killing him. Now John entered the judge's room. The judge realized that John was going to kill him. So, he tried to tempt John with money and even offered him a job. John asked the judge about Big Mama. The judge replied, "Big Mama works for me." After learning everything about Big Mama, John killed the judge as well. Meanwhile, Natasha was spending time with Nora. The two women were sitting together and talking. Just then, Nora received a phone call. She walked over to her car to answer it because the call was coming from the judge's phone. The truth was that Nora and the judge had been running the human trafficking operation together all along. Song-young was not Nora's biological daughter. Nora was only Song-young's stepmother. She had planned to sell her own stepdaughter for a huge amount of money. The judge had already revealed all of this to John. So after killing the judge, John used the judge's phone to call Nora. The moment Nora answered the call, she was shocked. She turned around and saw John sitting in the back seat of her car. Nora had no idea that John had once been a professional killer. She had always believed he was just an ordinary man. As John drove Nora far away, he calmly said, "I'll take care of Song-young." After saying those words, he killed Nora. John then called the same cleanup team that specialized in erasing crime scenes. They arrived, removed every trace of evidence, and cleaned the entire area. Afterward, John returned and embraced his wife. At that moment, we learned the truth that the girl John had saved years ago was none other than his wife, Natasha herself. And with that, the story comes to an end. Thanks.